Two vehicles leave the same base at the same time, traveling in opposite directions. We need to note that point. Traveling in opposite directions. Then the two of them. So the speed 1 plus speed 2, so that the total speed here, or the next speed, total speed is going to be what? 55 what? Plus 65, and that will be what? That will be 510, then 1. That will be 11, then plus that will be 2, 120. That's going to be 120 mile per hour. 120 mile per hour. So in that case, we are having speed as that. Then how far? What is that question asking for? How far? It means distance. How far are they after 3 hours? How far are they? That means this 3 hours is time. So after 3 hours, how far are they? How far are they? That means distance. We want to find the distance. And the formula here is speed equal to what? Speed equal to distance over time. And when you have to find distance like this, you want to make your distance out of formula. So from speed equal to distance over time, distance is going to be what? Speed times time. Speed multiplied by time. And that will give us what? 120 multiplied by 3. And that's going to be 360. 360 miles. And that's it. The answer is C. The answer is C. So just like opposite we are there, right? So when they are now moving in the same direction, the same one, then what is going to happen? The next speed is going to be subtracted. We are going to subtract the two speeds from each other to give us the next speed. So that's going to be 65 negative 55. And that will be what? That's going to be 0. That will be 10. 10 miles per hour. So if the question is still asking, how far apart are they after 3 hours? That is going to be what? That is going to be distance is equal to what? Distance is speed times time. And that is 10 multiplied by 3 hours. And that will be what? 30 miles. That's going to be 30. This one is saying the sum of 3 consecutive non-integers is 72. 3 consecutive, sum of them. So, and the question is asking for the largest number. We don't want to just be adding any number together, because when the question says consecutive, that means consecutive means number that follow each other. So let it be the first integer n, followed by n positive 1, followed by n positive 2. So we want to add those 3 together, and that will be n positive 1, positive n positive 2 equal to what? 72, because the question says their sum is equal to 72. So we can now add. Let's collect the right times. All those n, how many are they? 1, 2, 3. So that will be 3n. Then let's add those numbers together. 1 and 2. That will be 3. Equal to 72. Then the next thing will be, keep that 3n. Let's collect the right terms. 3n as at one side. Let's take 3 to make 72. That is going to be 72 negative 3. The moment 3 leave this first part to go to the other side, is crossing what? To cross the other side, it has crossed equal sign. That will make it to change to negative instead of positive. It will change to negative, and that will be what? 3n equal to, that will be 69. That will be 69. Then we can divide both sides by 3. When we divide both sides by 3, this 3 will divide 3. N is going to be what? How many 3 in 6? That will be 2. That will be 2. Then how many 3 in 9? That will be 3. So from here, we are having n to be 23. That means the first number is what? 23. Then what is the second number? N plus 1. That will be 23 plus 1. That will be what? 24. What is the third one? N plus 2. And that will be what? 23 plus 2. That will be 25. But let's go back to what the question asks us to do. The question says, what is the largest integer? We have calculated all the integers already. The integers are 23, 24 and 25. So which one is the largest? That is 25, and that's C. That's C. A soldier invests 2,500. 2,500 at 6%. Simple interest for 3 years. How much interest is earned? That is just simple interest. So how much interest? That's going to be simple interest. Simple interest equal to what? PRT. But the PRT, for me, I will do over 100. Instead of using R%, I will put 6 and put 0.06. Instead of that, I will make it over 100, so that we just pick 6. And that will help you when you are dividing. That will be so fast. Let's see now. So this is going to be P is 2,500. R is 6. We've kept 100 down already. Then our time is 3 years, and that will be over 100. So these two zeros will divide each other. What do we have here? 25 times 18. Let's multiply. 25 times 18. Then 8 times 5, that will be 40. Let's keep 4. 8 times 2, that will be 16. Plus 4, that will be 20. 1 times 5, 5. 1 times 2, 2. Then 0, 5, 4. This is what? This is 450. Yeah, that is 450. And the answer is what? D. The answer is D. The answer is D. So yeah, that's it. That's it. So because they will say increase annually for 3 years. So that's going to be, if you want to find interest now, interest in that case will be the first one. The first interest will be PR. The one we did is 3, right? But we just use only one. First year will be 1 year over 100. So this we divide each other. Then that's going to be 25 times 6. What is 25 times 6? That will be, let me do 25, then 6, 30, 12 plus 3. That will be 15. So this is going to be $150. Then the second year, this is first year. So second year, then it will be what? 2,500. 150 will be added to it. So P will now be what? 25 plus 150. 0562. That's going to be 2650 multiplied by 6 times 1 over 100. So this will divide. Then we can get, and that will be appreciate. So that will be 26.5 times 6. So by the time you find that, that's going to be 26.5 multiplied by 6. 33, 36 plus 3. That will be 39. 3 again. That will be 12 plus that will be 15. So this is going to be the point. This is going to be 159. 159 the second year. The third year, since we are talking about 3 years now. We are talking about 3 years. So this is going to be, third year will be the same 2650. You have to add 159 to it. So by the time you add 159 to it, that will be the P for that year, for the third year. But because when it is compound interest, the interest will be added to the principal each year. The interest will be added to principal each year. And the moment you have it that way, third year, we are going to have the principal to be 9. That will be 9, 0, that will be 10, 7, 8, 2. So this is going to be, the third year will be 2,809 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 1 over 100. So that's going to be 28.09 times 6. So let's do that. 28.09 times 6. That would be what? If it is, that would be 60. That would be 54. 4. Let's keep 5. That's 0. That would be 5. That would be 48. 8. That would be 4. Then 2. That would be 12. 12 plus 4. 12 plus 4 will be 16. Yes. Then what do we have here? That's going to be 1 2. So the interest, compound interest, is going to be, so we are going to have one third year is going to be 168.54. So we now had, if you want to know the whole interest for the 3 years, so it's going to be addition of 150, 159, 168, but that will be more than 450. That will be more than 450. Simple interest will just be 450 the way we calculated it, but if it is compound interest, it's going to be yearly interest based on principal, new principal every year, because principal will be, interest will be added every year to principal to calculate the interest for the next year. So total interest will be this one plus this plus this. So those three, if I think this one plus this will be the what? Compound interest for the 3 years, which will be what? More than 450. Which will be more than 450 if it is the compound. So that's it. Then the amount, but the question is not asking for the amount here. So we can still find the amount based on a formula. So yeah, that's it. So, but it will be stated. We will be able. The one says a supply store sells notebooks. Let's note that. Sells notebooks for $4 each, and calculators for these $12, 12 each. I won't call that sign so that they won't violate. A student buys a total of 10 items and spends 72 that. How many calculators did the student buy? So what are we going to do now? The total item 10. The total item, total items 10. So let me put total items bought 10. Then let's represent calculator. We don't know how many calculators, because that's what the question is saying. How many calculators did the student buy? Let the number of calculator be x. Let the number of calculators, let it be x. Then what will be the number of notebooks? Then number of notebooks will be what? I want us to say it from the total 10. So what will be the, if number of calculators are like they are x, what will be the number of notebooks based on 10? If you want to write it in mathematical form, what will it be? 10, that will be x out of 10, right? That means it's going to be 10 negative x. Let me, for what? How much? $4 each. Calculator $12 each. So let's see the cost. Let's see their cost. So the cost each, because we are looking at the total cost. Total cost is 72 over there. Then their individual cost will be what? Individual cost for the calculator, for calculator, that will be what? X multiplied by 12, because they said that is 12 each. So this is going to be 12x. Then for the notebooks, is going to be what? 10 negative x. Then we need to multiply by 4, because that one is each of them 4. So we can now put this cost together. We can add them together to equate it to 72. So that means we have 12x positive 4 into 10 negative x is 72. So that will be 12x plus, let's open the parentheses, 4 times 10, that will be 40. Then 4 times negative x, that will be negative 4x, equal to 72. So what do we have here? That is going to be, let's collect the like terms. 12x negative 4x, that will be what? 8x equal to 72. Let's take Let's take 40 to that side. That's going to be negative 40. So let's subtract it. 72 negative 40. What do we have? 2. Then 3. So that would be 8x equal to 32. 8x equal to 32. Then we can divide both sides by what? 8. We're going to give us what? 8x equal to 32 divided by 8 divided by 8. Then x is going to be 4. The question asked student buy. How many calculators did the student buy? That means the student bought 4 calculators. I work on this. The question says the length of a rectangular training field is 5 meters. The length is what? 5 meters more than the width. So let the length, I will just use length, then width. Then let's say width is also width. Let's make it as width. Let width be width. But length is what? 5 meters more than the width. How do we write that? The area is 84 square meter. Area. What is the width? So what is the formula for finding area of a rectangle? What is the formula? Length times width. Which is the area equal to what? Length is width positive 5. Then multiply by width. Multiply by width. In this case now, this is going to be like inside the parentheses, because we are that width is going to be multiplied the whole thing. So what do we have here? This 84 equal to what? Width squared positive 5 width. So what do we have? It's going to be w squared positive 5. This is going to be negative 84 equal to 0. Now that is quadratic equation, what do? We want to find the factor. We want to find the factor of what? Like the first thing, A. We can say A, B, C. Then negative 84 multiplied by w squared. That would be negative 84 width square. Let's now look for factor. Two products that will give us what? 84, negative 84 at the same time positive 5. What are the two factors? 12 then 7. Definitely one of them must be negative. One of them must be negative so that we can have negative. Then we need to consider which of them will be negative. For us to have negative 84, that means 7. 7 must be negative. We put W, we add it to them. So negative 7W, and that will make us to have what? Negative 84, then positive 5. If you subtract 7 from 12, that will give us 5. So, W square. So in place of 5, we now put positive 12 width, negative 7 width, negative 84 is 0. So we can now group and factorize. Group and factor it. So what is common factor? What is common? Which factor is common between width and 12 width? Width square and 12 width. That will be width. Into how many width? How can we divide? If you divide that, that's going to be 1 width. Then that will be positive 12, because that width we divide. And that will be positive 12. What is common? That's going to be negative 7. If you divide that by negative 7, that will be width. Then negative 84, negative 7, that will be positive 12. Then it's going to be 0. So what will be the next? We want to collect those terms that are similar and those other factors. So that's going to be width negative 7, then width positive 12 equal to 0. Width negative 7 equal to 0, or width positive 12 equal to what? 0. So what are we going to do here? Width equal to positive 7 or width equal to negative 12. So let's go back to what the question says. What is the width? What is the width? So in this case now, what is width? What is width? Going by width is 7 or 12. I mean, the one with positive, it cannot be negative. So that means width is what? 7 meter. Width is 7 meter. And if the question asks us to find length, that means we can just add, you can just add that 5 to 7, and that will just be 12. So length is 12 meters. The product is 56. So the moment you know your molecular table, you will quickly remember, what can I multiply together to give me 56? Because this one, you don't need too long thing. What can I multiply together to give me 56? And that number must be what? They must follow each other. They must be one after the other. So yeah, you just go by it. It means what are the two numbers to multiply together to give us 56? That's a number that we can easily know, right? We just 7 times 8. We give us 56, and 7 and 8, they follow each other. They are consecutive number. Which one is larger? 8. And that is B. That is B. So here, 1, 2, that's the cost, is discounted by 15%. So if you are looking at that, I will say cost price is 1, 2. So then discounted at 15. So I will make, if you want to do it, you can find 50%, then subtract it, or subtract the percentage from the beginning. So it can be 100% the whole thing, negative 15. And what will that be? That is going to be 85. So that will be 85%. So we can now find this space. Sales price will be what? 85 over 100 multiplied by 1, 2. So what are we going to do? Yeah, that's percentage for the sale. I mean, the sale price percentage is going to be 85. It's going to be 85. So we can divide this 100 by those two zeros. So what do we have here? That's going to be 85 multiplied by 12. That's 10. Let's keep 1. 2 times 8, 16 plus 1, that will be 17. Then 1 times 5, 5. 1 times 8, 8. 0, that will be 12. Let's keep 1, that will be 10. 8, 9, 10, yeah. So that means the answer here will be $1,020, which is B. Which is another method will be find. So what is discount? Discount is what? Percent. Okay, yeah. So discount is 50 over 100 multiplied by 1, 2. Then this 100 will divide all this. What is 15 times 12? That's going to be 10. That'll be 2. That'll be 3. Then 5 and 1. 0, 8, 1. So this is 180. That's it. That is the 15%. So sale price will now be what? 2, let me put the dollar, negative 180. So that will be 1, 2, 1, 2, negative 180, 0. Let's keep this as 10. That will be 2. Then this is now 1. Yeah, that will be 10. So you can see now. So that's 1,020. 1,020. So which is still the same thing as what we did. So any of the two methods, you can use any of the two methods. What is the total time of travel? So the first journey 120 miles at 60 miles per hour. So we want to find time from that one. We want to find time. So here we are having, once you have mile, you know it's distance. So distance is given to us as 120 miles. Then speed 1, 60 miles per hour. So we can find time here will be what? Speed equal to distance over time. Then time is going to be speed, distance over speed. So distance over speed, distance over speed. So that will be what? Distance is 120 over speed, that will be 60. This is 2 hours. So this is 2 hours. Then another one is, the second one is time for the second time. So that will be what? Distance is 180 for that. Then speed is 90 in that case. This is also going to be 2 hours. So we can now find the total time. So total time will now be what? You want to add the time 1 and time 2 together. That will be 2 plus 2, and that will be 4 hours. So that's A. So if 8 uniform cost 360, 8 cost 360, how much will 15 uniform cost at the same rate? Cost of what? Cost of one uniform. So if 8 uniforms is 360, then cost, how much? What is the cost of one? What is the cost of one? And that is going to be 1. You want to cost one uniform will be 360 divided by 8. Okay, so if you divide that, how many 8 in 36? That would be, okay, that would be 4. 8 in 36, that would be 4, that would be 32. Then it remains 4 with 0, that would make it 40, that would make it 40. How many 8 in 40? That would be 5. That means now do 15 times 45. So that's going to be 15 uniform now. 15 uniforms will now be what? 15 multiplied by 45. And that is going to be what? 45 times 15. That will be 25. Let's keep 2. 5 times 4, 20. 20 plus 2, 22. Then 1 times 5, 5. Then 4. Then 5. That will be 7, 6. So the answer is 6, 7, 5. And that's C. Proportion method. That is going to be 8 uniform is what? 360. Then the question is asking for 15 uniforms. So put 15 uniform here. 15 uniforms equal to what? Let's put X. Then start by saying 8 uniform over 360, then equal to what? 15 uniform over X. Then cross multiply. So when you cross multiply X, 8X equal to what? 15 times 360. So we can now divide by what? 8. When you divide by 8, so this is going to divide. X is now going to be what? Let's see. How many 8 in 36? 8 in 36, that would be 4. That's 32, right? Remainder 4. Take the 4 to 0, that would be 40. How many 8 in 40? That would be 5. Then this 8 is gone. What do we have there? 45 multiplied by, so that's 15 times 45. And that would be 675. So which is still the same. Straight. The perimeter of a rectangular storage area is 94. Perimeter is 94. So I will put perimeter. The value is 94. So the formula is what? 2 into length plus width. So let's keep that. Which will be 2 length plus 2 width at the end of the day. So if you go back to what the question is saying now, the length is 3 meters longer than the width. So how can we write that? That means if you are writing the length, putting the width, I will put the width as width. Or if you want to use X, maybe we should use X. I think X is, for me, I love using X. If width is X, then what will be the length? 3 meters longer than the width. How is that? That means X plus 3. That's it. So longer than, it means you add 3 to it. You add 3 meters to it. So we can now go back to our perimeter. The formula for our perimeter. What is the formula? perimeter again, perimeter is, I will make it 2 length plus 2 width. Then let's put our values. Our value, this is 94 equal to 2 length. That will be 2 into x positive 3. That's the length. Then plus 2x. So from that, now what do we have? We can now do 94 equal to what? 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 6, positive 6 plus 2x. Collect the like terms. Our 2x and 2x, that will be 4x plus 6 equal to 94. So what will happen? Let's take 6 to that 94. That will be negative, right? So if you like, you can rearrange them, but that will still be the same. So let's say we have 46. We keep our 4x at one side. 4x equal to what? 94 negative 6. Do we understand? So that will be 4x equal to what? That will be 88. Then we can divide both sides by 4. Divide both sides by 4. X is what? 2. S is 22. So if you look at this, let's see what is the question asking for. What is the width? We made width to be x, right? That means our width is c, 22. Width is c. If the question asks us what is the length, then we just add 3 to 22, and that will be 25.